Welcome, everyone, to the Friday the 13th edition of the Signals from Mars live stream. Out there in Utah is the good Dr. Poison Brad Dahl. How are you, sir?
Very good. Thank you for having me, Victor. I guess it's not 2 weeks in a row. It just feels that way.
2 shows in a row.
Yeah. I'm flattered beyond belief. Thank you very much for having me back.
And next week with the Patreon show, if you make it, it'll be 3 shows.
Oh, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll definitely be there. In fact, if anybody who's watching this right now, jump in next week. I forget what we're talking about.
Oh, well, I'll give you guys the official poll totals, because it was up until today that you could vote.
Ooh. I saw it was very close when I voted.
Yes, so let's see. The totals are coming up here. And okay, so officially next week, the band that we will be discussing is, I've got a soundbite for this. Where'd this go?
Oh my. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, you want to go straight to that? You want? This is one of the louder ones. So.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Well, all right. All right. Yeah, I didn't have that one right.
So, well, or if people don't get it, come on.
Look, it's rock and roll.
That could be a giveaway.
How you doing, people?
There you go.
All right. So we will be talking Kiss next week.
Awesome.
So the patrons have voted, and that's what we will be we will be talking about. So if you want to join us and talk about Kiss, all you got to do is become a patron. Patreon.com/Mars
$2 a month.
$2 a month gets you into the club.
Yeah,
Allows
it's
you to
like
appear on stage and talk about Kiss.
Yeah, which is worth probably at least $25 a month, actually.
We're giving it away.
That's right. We're giving it away for $2. Yeah, I actually bought a Kiss T-shirt.
Oh, you did?
And in full anticipation of this happening. I don't have it yet. It's in the mail.
See, I didn't even realize that this was happening, and I'm wearing a Kiss T-shirt ahead of time. But
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, we will be talking Kiss next week. But this week we'll be talking M3. So
yeah. I see Jeremy's got a Kiss T-shirt he's going to be wearing too. Nice.
Oh, let me throw the chat on here. Oh, I guess we can't see. There's Jeremy's comments. Actually, I can do it this way. Jeremy's saying he's going to wear his Kiss T-shirt and listen to the entire back catalog. So,
wow.
Impressive.
You know, I would expect nothing less from Jeremy, though. He's the consummate professional music fan. I mean, his yeah, in fact, I'm sorry I missed the beginning of Fireside. I assume you guys talked about new releases.
Yes, and we talked a little bit about Graham Bonnet's new album.
Yeah.
And
well, I want to I'll have to watch the replay or listen to the replay of that so I can get up to speed.
Yeah, we got to take care of Jeremy's echo. Hopefully between now and next week we'll be able to do that. But yeah. So anyway, I do want to thank anyone who is listening or watching this live or watching the replay or listening to the replay. I do want to thank you guys. Remember, give us a shout on iTunes or on Podchaser and give us 5 stars or whatever you want. I've got some bad reviews on there. I'm not ashamed to say it. You want to give us a bad review? Be objective.
What the hell's wrong with those people? Everyone's a critic.
Yeah. One of the bad reviews is another podcaster. So there you go.
Ooh. Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to the topic at hand. And we are going to be talking M3. Jeremy said he was going to be jealous. So
yeah,
have the M3 lineup page loaded up here. Although it doesn't have all of the bands, it has the bigger bands anyway.
Yeah, I've got exactly how it went down here. I made notes. If I was really prepared, I should have sent you. I took pictures of every band.
Oh, you
that I
did.
was
You know,
supposed
I should have asked you about that because we could have displayed them.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. Well, let's restart this again in another hour. We'll have all right, we're gonna damn it, Victor, we're gonna get so good at this that other podcasters will be so jealous they won't be able to say bad things about us.
There you go. No, they
Yeah.
don't say bad things about you. You've got a PhD. Me, on the other hand,
you have an honorary PhD in rock.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, no, yeah, you should, man. There's, I think if Art was in here, he would agree. He always speaks of your knowledge of music and everything else. And plus, hey, you got your basketball certificates, man. You're a certified coach in two different
Continents.
certifications. Yeah. All right. M3.
M3.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, M3 is a music festival that's been held now for 13 count 'em years. Here's what's really cool is that, well, because I'm a so-called VIP, they comp you a T-shirt, which is nice.
Oh, wow.
You get like this little gift bag, which is actually a really nice reusable bag, and it's full of all kinds of little doodads and stuff, and as well as this actually really high quality, nice T-shirt. And so there you go. Music festival in Columbia, Maryland, which is just outside of Baltimore. And the facility there, the Merriweather Post Pavilion, it's been there like forever. I mean, and Jimi Hendrix played there. I mean, that's how old the place is. But they've really worked hard to refurbish it and keep it nice. I know the very first year I went, which was 5 years ago, they were still getting the roof over the seating area where the fixed seats are. They're getting the roof put in, and there were some open spots. And it was kind of funny is that when it rained, because it did rain that year too, not as much as this year, but when it rained, those people on the edges that were getting wet, it was really cool because everybody's like, hey, come on, let's all bunch in. And so everybody just kind of huddled together in the middle. And I think that's one of the things that makes this festival so cool is that a lot of these people that go to it have been to it, year and year after, and it's a really just warm, friendly place to be. The people that work there are very cool, and the people that are attending are very cool. It's like just hanging out with a bunch of friends, and so that's really nice. And for an old guy like me, having a nice, comfortable seat that I can sit in,
right?
That's a bonus. Having cover that when it is hot and sunny that you're out of the sun, that's a bonus. When it's raining, you're dry. Yeah, that's all good. So good place. The stage is huge. They've got a revolving stage. So it's kind of cool because you can set one band up that's playing, and then the other band can be setting up behind them, and then it spins when that band's done. The first year I did it, I mean, it was almost instantaneous. They would have it swung around, and within 5 minutes, the next band would be playing.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, have you ever seen anyone get the hook while they're playing? Stage starts to revolve.
Yep.
And the other band comes on.
Yeah, I've seen it happen a couple of times. Happened to one band at this year, but they were done playing, but they were taking pictures afterward. It was kind of the thing for somebody to get up behind the drums and take pictures of the band with the crowd behind them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there was one that they started spinning when they were taking their pictures because they're not screwing around here. But that first year that I went, where they were, I mean, just one band into another, you barely had time to go, the bathroom if you wanted to between bands. I guess people complain about that, which I thought was odd. Because again, because people know each other at this thing that's gotten to be such a group event, they wanted more time to just hang out and chat between the bands,
Huh.
which I'm like, I don't know. I was kind of cool with things going quick. So yeah, so anyway, this year the weather was awful. It was so cold. It was 40 something degrees the
Wow.
first 2 days, and it rained the entire time almost. So it was really wet, humid, 40 something degrees. We were bundled up and we were still freezing. The last day, Sunday, it didn't rain. It was still cold, but it wasn't raining, so it was much, much better. So that was a bonus.
It's a
But
good
yeah,
year for
there was
lawn seats.
what's that?
Good year for lawn seats.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing, the people that sit out there. I mean, there are people out there with pup tents, and they're sitting in their tent watching the show, and there are people out there just wearing ponchos, sitting on the grass, and I'm like, "You people are crazy, hardy rock fans, man." I applaud them. And I do have to say this about sitting out there on the grass. They have huge, video screens out there, so you
Mhm.
can actually see the stage from out there, but you're way the hell out there. But you can see the stage clearly. But
Right.
they got big video monitors, and so they're filming the whole thing, and so that's kinda nice, and the sound out there, they've got speakers out there as well, not just the main speakers coming from the stage. The sound out there is actually, I think, better than down where we were sitting.
Wow.
It sounds really good out there, so if you're just there to kinda chill, hang out, eat snacks, and, enjoy the rain, that's a good way to go. That's the other thing about this concert is it's not very expensive. I can't remember what I paid for our tickets, our VIP tickets, fixed seats
Mhm.
and all. It was less than $300. Um,
Okay.
and that's for 3 days. Okay, Friday is a shortened day. It starts in the evening. You get 4 bands, but Saturday and Sunday start at noon and it goes till 10, 11. So you're getting a hell of a lot of music for really not a lot of money. So that's another bonus about this concert. So we'll jump right into it. And we talked about this the last time we chatted. Like what are the expectations? I wanted your take on these bands that were going to be playing and if you'd seen them and what you thought. The very first band that was up Friday came in there 5 o'clock sharp. These guys hit the stage. It was Count 77.
Okay.
Um, we all know guy. Now I'm blanking on his name.
Danny Coker.
Yeah, Danny Coker from Counting Cars. Is that what it?
Yep. Yeah.
Is that the TV show that he
Yes.
has?
Mhm.
And he also owns Counts Vamped, which is my favorite club in Las Vegas to go see bands. I love just going down there to see bands. Saw Graham Bonnet down there,
Oh, wow.
and Graham was awesome. Bob Kulick came up and played some songs with him, did a lot of the Michael Schenker stuff with him, I was like, oh, I had no idea how good a guitar player Bob Kulick was. Okay, I thought he was just, but
Right.
he got up there and man, he nailed that Schenker stuff. I mean,
Oh, wow.
he slayed it. Yeah, he was legit. So, yeah. So anyway, let's go back to the show. I'm going to keep going off on tangents. So yeah, so Danny Coker came out in his band, and these guys, I mean, they were incredibly polished, and Shelley was very impressed as well. And I said, well, the guy owns a club. They can certainly rehearse on a
I was
real
just gonna say
stage.
plenty of space and time to rehearse, I'm sure.
Yeah, they didn't play for very long, and and it went by fairly rapidly. The last song they played, there was a lot of guitar soloing going on, so it was kind of a jam thing, and it felt like that felt a little long. But other than that, the songs were really good. I mean, not having known any of these songs, I was able, it was kind of real classic 70s vibe,
Yeah.
rock music, but it was good, and they were all really good players. The entertaining part of it was the keyboard player. I think he was maybe like 4'10" or so. He was they didn't adjust his keyboard for him, so he's playing like this, kind of looking over the keyboard. Danny Coker, he looks like he's about 6'5" or something.
Right.
He's a big dude. But they worked the stage very well. The music was super enjoyable. I'm definitely going to buy some of their stuff, and I'm going to play it on Yard Metal because I think it'd fit in just fine. And I'm going to look. I'm going to keep my eye open for them playing in Vegas because I would actually go down and see them. They were fun. It was a fun, good rock band. They were having a good time, very well interacting with each other, and so I gave them a big thumbs up. So that was Count. And you've heard some of their music, I know.
Yeah. I came close to interviewing him, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, he was scheduled to talk to Mark when we were doing our Friday Night Live show. And he ended up not being able to make the interview, and Mark just spoke to him on his own. So
okay. Yeah, I thought as I'm watching him, I thought, this is a dude I need to be friends with. Because he seemed number one, he seems like a really cool dude. Number two, hey, I wouldn't mind being friends with somebody who owns a club that gets all the hot bands or club bands coming through. I would definitely like to be in on that scene. So that's a guy I would reach out to, and I don't know. They didn't talk about recording any new music, but that may be worth looking at, trying to talk to him again. He seemed like a really just super nice, cool dude. And they, like I said, they were just very glad to be there. They were having a blast. And I did not expect that. I kind of expected them to be standing there kind of looking like guys that have regular day jobs, just play on the side once in a while and not real polished. They look, and I know they don't play that much. I mean, they certainly don't tour or anything, but they played like a band that had played a lot. They came off really well. All right, so next band, Lizzie Borden.
Okay.
And I think you said you've seen Lizzie before?
Yes, at a festival. Was supposed to be the John Sykes fronted Thin Lizzy. And last second, we were informed that Thin Lizzy would not be playing, but that Lizzie Borden would be playing instead. Outside of Me Against the World, I can't say that I'm a huge Lizzie Borden fan. I know that Metal Dan, for example, has mentioned that he's a pretty big fan of Lizzie Borden, I guess growing up in California, and that Lizzie was big out there and whatnot. But go ahead. Your thoughts on Lizzie Borden?
Yeah, so I actually have bought a few of his albums, and I've been playing some of his music. I enjoy it. It's kind of I'm going to say that there's not a lot of his music that just jumps out at you and just grabs you like, oh, this is a great song. I think Me Against the World, I think that's actually a pretty darn good song. It's kind of unfortunate for these older bands where they kind of get their one song on the first album, but at least they got one song that people know. So he came right out of it. He played My Nighttime Things or whatever. I'm screwing this up already. It's the title track off his last album that came out like maybe 3-4 years ago.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So they started off with that. That was a really good song, actually. I was familiar with the song. I enjoyed it. I knew he was kind of a theatrical costume guy, but I didn't know to what extent he was a costume theatrical guy. I mean, he made Rob Halford look like a slacker in his costume changes. He went through so many different costumes. It was just unbelievable. And, he tried a bit of magic and did some kind of interesting things. Jumped down into the crowd for a while, which I think that's always kind of a ballsy move because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
M3 is a pretty safe audience to do that with. I remember one year, guy, why am I thinking? I'm Ted Poley. You know, he's the original singer in Danger Danger.
Right.
He was there. I don't know if he was doing his own thing or singing with somebody else. But he jumped down and he went running around the audience, and people, for whatever reason, love him there. I don't know if he's just big on the East Coast. Maybe that's it.
New Jersey guy.
Yeah. But he went running around there, and I don't even know where I'm going with this, but yeah, he ended up losing a very expensive necklace. So he had to come back out on stage after his set and say, hey, you know, if any my necklace. And of course, this is the kind of crowd that you get M3. Everybody starts looking around. Everybody's on the hunt because they want to help out Ted. It's like, how cool is that? Rather than like, it's a very expensive necklace. I want it for me. That's not the vibe you got. So cool crowd. So yeah, so Lizzie Borden got down in there. I'm just going to say that he was just mildly musically entertaining. The songs didn't really, he needs better songs. Okay. I think Lizzie, he sings okay and everything. The act was just all right. It wasn't like spectacular. So, and then Me Against the World, I don't know, maybe he played it too long, or maybe that was our next act we're going to talk about that played their one song way too long. Yeah, I think that's a big mistake for these bands. Maybe, I don't know what you guys think, but if you got one hit, don't make it last 10 minutes.
Wait a second. I got something for you on that.
All right.
Breaking the what?
Exactly. Yeah. Whoa, yo, yo, yo. Yeah. Yeah. And enough of that. You know, that's the other thing too. You know, if you're going to try to get people to sing along with you. Oh, yeah. There it is. That's it. Yeah. That's it. It's like sometimes that stuff comes off pretty cool. Sometimes it comes off with just play a song for hell's sake. Okay. You know, enough of this. Let's try to get you to do, you know, the same guy. People just do the same things over and over that other bands have done. What's the
13-minute rendition of You've Got Another Thing Coming.
Yeah, no, nobody wants that. Nobody needs that.
And then towards the end of it, you're thinking, wait, didn't I pay to see you sing? And you're asking me to sing for 7.5 minutes?
Yeah.
What
some guys are really good at pulling that off where it just doesn't seem like, okay, you know, I'm looking at my watch. Come on, let's go. Let's move this thing. Let's move this thing along.
It's the 18th tour where you're doing this. Well, if it's the 18th tour of,
oh yeah,
you're thinking,
well,
can you please?
Along those lines, you know, at the end of Desert Plains, that Rob kind of goes off on his weird screaming thing.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't do that anymore, Rob. That's awful. I don't even think it was good the first time he did it. I mean, it was just like, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I'd rather hear.
Oh yeah.
Okay, if he did that once or twice even, I'd be okay. But I feel like when he does that, he does it like 12 times. No, don't. Just play another song. Okay, please just play another song. Okay, so Lizzie Borden. So next coming up was Doro. Now oh wait, Shelley, come here. I was really looking forward to seeing Doro. I mean, Doro's kind of a legend, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, she's a metal queen, hands down metal queen. So she comes out. And, you know, she's got a good band and everything. But, Shelley, tell them about Doro.
Well, I hate to say anything that might offend people that like her.
You're not offending the people that like her. Just give her this is just opinions.
Okay. So I didn't know her at all. I'm not the rock aficionado that this guy is. But so just listening from, So I don't know the songs, so it's kind of interesting hearing it. Just her vocal range is about 4 notes. I mean, it really was not good vocally. It was, and I can appreciate what she does, and I thought her band was really good, but she would just sing these same 4 notes over and over and over, and it was very limited. And after a while, I kind of just got bored of hearing those same notes over and over and over. So vocally, it was really tough to listen to when you don't know the songs, and it wasn't good. Let's just say that it was tough to listen to. So
I do have to say this, that for whatever reason, maybe it's their sound, maybe they had their own sound guy there, but they had her voice way up in the mix, like way up in the mix, where it was just her singing and the music was kind of way behind it. And I think that was a big mistake.
So like I took a walk and went out in the back, and I think I maybe went to the ladies' room or something and came back. And it really was bad from a distance, where really all you could hear was her. And it was really rough to listen to. Yeah. So
yeah. But she was the classic example of her big song, All We Are. How long do you think that lasted?
Oh, all we are. There's those same 4 notes again, just the same thing over and over and over. And that phrase, the whatever the chorus is of the song, she must have sang that about 50 times, if not more. And finally, about partway through, I was just like, enough. Yeah. And then it was stuck in my head for about the next 5 days.
See?
And, yeah.
That was the funny thing, is that for the next couple of days, even on the way home on the plane, Shelley was still singing that song. She goes, "That's driving me crazy."
Because I can't get those same notes and that refrain. I don't know what it is. All we are all we need, or something like that. And she just keeps saying it over and over and over and over for a good probably over 5 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, just that. And
Just
getting people to repeat it, sing along. So
yeah.
On the upside of that, I mean, she's a very energetic performer.
Oh yeah, she really is.
I mean, she's running around. She's selling it. The band was really good. I kind of felt bad though. The drummer kept kind of egging on the audience to cheer more for her. It's like, it's the metal. He was like, it's a metal queen. He's a New Jersey guy. Who was he with?
Johnny D.
Johnny D. Was he in Brittany Fox or something?
In Brittany Fox, and he was in Wasted and Taiketo.
Okay.
But he's been with Doro for the longest time. In recent years, she's actually had 2 different bands. She's had a band for the US and a band for Europe, because it's just cheaper than flying people back and forth. I really like a lot of her stuff.
Performance. I liked her performance, though. I mean, she's, like Brad said, she's very energetic. So
I think her problem is that it's the pitfalls that a lot of classic artists fall into. You have that one big hit, and with these last few albums, she's just tried to find like a B version of All We Are, and a C version, and a D version. It's like, no, you were great when you weren't chasing that, when you were doing your own thing. So it's unfortunate, because her last few albums, to me, she's become like Manowar, where everything has to be like a copy of an anthem, and it just doesn't work out. So
I kind of feel a bit about her like I did Lizzie Borden. I actually enjoyed Lizzie Borden better. If we were going to rank people, I think Shelley would agree with me that the headlining band for that night, which we'll talk about next, would be number 1 far and away. And then it would be Count 77. And then it would be Lizzie Borden. Then, unfortunately, Doro bringing up the rear if this was a horse race.
I will say this. I believe I mentioned this to you, Brad. She did invite me to have a beer with her once, so she gets points on that.
I agree, and I was going to try to take her up on that for you, but yeah, the way things were, man, I was just they had a meet and greet that you could do as a VIP person, with the band, and I was like, I'm freaking freezing. Although and there was a big line standing out in the rain to do this. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this, man. I'm not leaving my seat for that. So that brings us to the headliner, and I Metal Dan. I don't think he's out there, but if he was out there,
yeah, but he told me he's going to be listening because he wanted to hear what you had to say about one of his favorite bands, the band that he says he's seen the most live.
Well, I'm going to tell you, and Shelly, we'll get her opinion really quick. First time I ever saw Kix, which was the headlining band, they headline every Friday night for 13 years now. They've headlined Friday night there. I mean, let's face it, Kix is a club band in the U.S., pretty much anywhere else. But in Baltimore, they're going to sell 5,000 plus tickets.
Right.
And the place was packed for them. And they deserve it. I mean, they come out, they put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. And they do everything well. Their sound was just perfect. Everything was mixed really well. Steve Whiteman,
he's just super fun.
Yeah.
He sings really well. I don't know how old he is, but he sings great. I thought the band was great. And I don't really know them that well, but I saw them there last year and became a lot more of a fan, and they were just as good this year. Really fun group. Didn't you see him in a club here and there were only a couple people there?
Yeah. I saw him in a club here in Salt Lake City. And there was maybe like 200 people there. And they put on as good a show as they did in front of 5,000 people. I mean, that's a big credit to that band. I mean, they bring it, and they're super well rehearsed. I mean, there's a lot of choreography that goes on there, but it's so slick that you don't realize it, that they're doing it, kind of a thing. It's I mean, it's very natural. And
he's a
so Kix.
Yeah.
Kix was fantastic. I was kind of, Metal Dan talking about them on the Monsters of Rock cruise that they had an off night. I was kind of surprised at that because now I've only seen them like 4 times or 5 times, but they've been right on every time. I mean, sometimes a little bit better than others. I think this was maybe better than this year.
They were great.
Yeah. Either time it was just fantastic. So those guys deserve better. I don't know.
The other thing that makes them really fun there is that everybody in the audience knows all of their songs. And so the audience is just insane for them. They love them. And it just makes for a really fun show when the audience is just digging it. Unlike the other act I really enjoyed when we get to it was Blue Oyster Cult. And I thought they were fantastic, but you could tell most people didn't really know them as well. So it was kind of like low key in that. And I kind of felt kind of bad for them. But Kix, it's just such a fun show because the audience is just so into it.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, just so you know, Kix is Kix. So I'm sure you've heard of them, especially if, given the music that you listen to. Blow My Fuse, Midnight Dynamite, Don't Close Your Eyes was the super big song.
That was the big hit
one
here. Yeah. Cold Blood. Cold Blood is their other big song. Yeah.
That's the other. Yeah. So
if you're gonna anybody who doesn't know their music, start off with that album. Blow My Fuse.
He didn't ask a million times who was gonna blow his fuse, or he's got PC with that.
He did have a great tip about wearing reading glasses, though. I'll let Brad tell you about that, not me.
Because he does the sing along thing quite a bit, but he does it okay. I mean, it comes off again because the crowd,
the audience,
because the audience is so into it. Everybody sings along with him and does what he wants them to do, and so he does a sing along with Cold Blood, and it doesn't come off as tired or worn or too long or anything like that. And he has the girls sing, and then he teaches the harmony part to the guys, and then he mixes them together. And then he has just the guys sing, and then he has them do it a couple times, and he goes, okay, just the guys with small wieners, and then, there's always like a bunch of guys that sing along, and that, so his tip was if you have a small wiener, that you should get yourself a pair of readers, because it'll look bigger.
There you go.
So he's here to help. That's the kind of guy Steve Whiteman is. He's here to help. Yeah, have you interviewed him?
I have not, but he's everyone loves him. He's a vocal coach as well. He's Lizzie Hale's vocal coach, actually.
Yep.
And yeah, so I mean, I've never heard a bad thing about him. And actually, the other members of the band, I know that from the Rock and Pod Expo, there have been other members that have gone to that. I think Daryl Forsyth is the name of the guitarist, if I'm not mistaken.
Brian
Forsyth.
Brian
Okay.
Damage Forsyth. Yeah.
There you go. And he's been great. I mean, he's someone who, has a huge presence on social media and has been great about promoting that. And I've heard nothing but good things about him and the rest of the band. So that's awesome.
Yeah. The first year I went, I was waiting at the Baltimore airport to fly out, and he was sitting across from me. And without the makeup, let's just say he looks a lot different. Bless his heart. And I didn't want to be that guy and try to talk to him.
Right.
Part of me did. I was like, I wanted to go say hi to him. I saw Vinny Appice there in the airport as well, and I just said, "Hey, Vinny, nice show last night." And he was very cordial and said, "Oh, thanks, man." But I'm not the guy who goes bugging people. You know what I mean? I'm just, yeah. But I did interview Steve Whiteman here in Salt Lake. Actually, he invited me to his hotel. We did it in the lobby, so kept it clean.
Okay.
And it was kind of a weird interview, just because I felt weird because I brought up some things that kind of pushed a couple of his buttons.
Okay.
Which you can catch that on the Yard Metal YouTube page, by the way, if you want to watch that. But when I listened back to it, and I was like, oh no, it was just me. I was just getting kind of weird. He was super, super nice. Yeah, couldn't have been more nice. So Kicks, I'm going to give them as many Marses as we can give on this show. And what's the maximum? Is it 5 or 10?
Whatever you want to make it, Brad. I'm flexible.
We'll go 5 Marses.
All right,
5
gang,
Marses.
I'm gonna butt out now that I've put in my 2 cents. Although I'm gonna say one more thing, but I've got stuff to do, so I gotta leave. But I gotta say one more thing. Yngwie Malmsteen. So there's a level of douchiness. So here's like a normal person, zero douchiness, just no douchey. Here's your super douche up here.
I'm like right in here.
Here's your super douche. I'm gonna give Yngwie. I'm sorry, I just can't reach that high. That's all I've got to say. Have fun, folks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shelly, for the appearance and for the commentary there. But would CEO Dave agree?
About Yngwie? That's a great question. And CEO Dave's been in the Philippines. He just barely got back. So
Okay.
we got to get him on this show one of these days to tell his Yngwie stories. And yeah, he's got some real interesting things to say about Yngwie, because he just would go over to his house and hang out. And he did have I remember one of the stories he told was that he kind of called Yngwie on some of his BS, and he pissed off Yngwie so much that Yngwie left his house.
Oh, wow.
And he says, that's kind of funny because I figured he'd throw me out, but no, he left me in his house. And like, yeah, who does that? So he just left. He did come back eventually. But yeah, CEO Dave, man, he's the CEO. He didn't like the way that he treated the other guys in the band. I guess he was Jeff Scott Soto was there one night, and he was Yngwie was really making fun of him and being kind of an ass to him. And Dave was like, dude, this is your singer, man. You need to like, this is your guy. I was like, why are you treating him like crap? So enough Yngwie.
Dave is lucky he didn't unleash the fucking fury.
No kidding. In fact, Dave, I think I've told you this story, but Yngwie gave Dave one of his leather jackets.
Oh, wow.
I don't know where it is now. It's a badass jacket too. I don't think I can fit into it. If it's one of Yngwie's now jackets, I could fit into it. But back then, no. So yeah, well, spoiler. Yeah, that's enough Yngwie till we get to day 3. Okay, let's move things. Let's move things along. So that was the end of day 1. We called it a success. We had fun. It was just long enough to get super ice cold frozen, but not long enough to want to have to run out of there. We didn't leave early because again, Kicks was that good. Yeah, we sat through 43-degree freezing ass rainy weather. And as Steve Whiteman said, he said, if I was you, I wouldn't be here. Okay, Saturday. So Saturday, we show up at noon, bright and early there, and not a lot of people. There's a lot of partying that goes on after the set. The hotel where they put up the bands and that they kind of have a get together after the night where anybody can go and hang out. It's not no cost or anything, and they'll usually have some jam sessions and things like that. I've never gone to that. I know in the past, Mark's invited me over there to hang out in the bar and drink and stuff. Well, guess who doesn't drink? It might be me. And plus, I'm just tired, man. And I don't want to stay up till 3 in the morning and then try to get up because I want to see the bands. So bright and early, Saturday, we come wheeling in there and we hear the Magical Mystery Tour. So the band's playing the Magical Mystery Tour. I'm like, wait a second. This is supposed to be Lillian Axe. It doesn't sound like Lillian Axe. And as I get closer, I see, sure enough, it's Chips Enough. I'm like, what's Enough's Enough doing here? They weren't on the bill at all.
Right.
So at the last moment, one of these bands pulled out. So we started theorizing who that might be. I thought, well, maybe Lillian Axe is out and that's why Enough's in their slot. And then I thought, well, there's the band who's been on the bill every time I've gone and has never shown up. And that's a band I'll talk about here in a moment. So Enough's Enough. I've seen them a few times. They're all right. I mean, I think the band was totally different than what I saw 2 years ago or 3 years ago when I saw him. I'm sure he kind of shuffles guys around, but it's Chip. So Chip and his guys, everybody loves Chip. And he seems like a really nice guy, and that's probably why people love him. I don't know. But anyway, I kind of, for a Saturday morning or early afternoon and for 30 minutes, I enjoyed it. It was actually better than when I've seen him before where I got kind of bored really quick. They did play a lot of Beatles songs because I guess they got that album that they most recently did a big Beatles covers. And that was okay. But of course they played their hits, Fly High Michelle and all that. And there was no sing-along. So good job, Chip. Of course, I guess when you got 30 minutes, you don't want to blow it doing a sing-along. But next was Lillian Axe. And I know, I think it's Jack Frost. Am I saying that right? Is he the guitar player that's been in that band? I think there's only two original guys that are still in the band. And it's him.
Jack Frost, that isn't original from that band.
Is it? He's not original?
No.
I think he is. They're out of New Orleans, though. They're a Louisiana band.
Yeah, and Jack Frost is from New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is from New Jersey. But the
Steve
band's from
Blaze? Is that who you're thinking?
Steve Blaze, that's it. Steve Blaze. I'm sorry. Steve Blaze Frost. Who's the guy that... Who's the guy who did that other album, Brothers in Arms? That's
Jack Frost.
That's Jack Frost. Okay. See, I get these guys that have these like stage names. I get them all mixed up. I don't think that's on his birth certificate.
Name. That's on his birth certificate. Jack Frost, like Frosty the Snowman.
There you go.
Frosty the Snowman Frost.
Which, by the way, I really do like that Brothers in Arms album. I'll give that a shout out here. I really do like that. That's good. That's really well done music. He put together a good album.
We found one person that liked it.
Oh, roast. Yeah, and I think I heard that album, songs off that album here first. So as a patron of yours on Patreon, you get to see daily videos of new music that's coming out, and that's where I heard that first. I have not seen any Lillian Axe in any of your videos that you've put out.
They just released the greatest hits, and to my knowledge, they haven't released any new videos. But if they release something new and it's sent to me or it's on one of my sites that I normally go to check out for new videos, then I'll post it.
There you go. So they were actually really good. I mean, they were, considering that I don't know when and where those guys play. I never see them like a tour list or anything. But they played really well together. I mean, they were, but it looked like only two old dudes and a bunch of young guys that they had kind of putting the band together. They have one song, "Give a Little Love" or something like that. I think that was their hit
Is
from,
that
again,
Supertramp?
back in the day. Yeah, there you go. But of course, they saved that for last. But yeah, they were good. They weren't great. They were just good. It
Okay.
wasn't. I think if I'm right about this, their singer was really good. If I'm thinking about that right, I might be thinking about Leatherwolf. But
Brent
again, these
Grant.
L bands, the Lizzie
Right.
Borden, Lillian Axe, and Leatherwolf, the L bands, the three
The
L's.
Triple L tour.
Yeah. So Lillian Axe was just all right. They were okay. More enjoyable than Doro.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is a band. This is the second time I've seen them. Yeah, yeah. Next up was a band. This is the second time I've seen them, and both times at M3. Band I really knew nothing about other than I remember seeing them on MTV once upon a time, and that's Vane.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get the name right now because I screwed it up last time. It was Danny Vane?
Davey.
Davey frickin' jeez. Davey Vane, yeah. So his band looked pretty much like same people that he had last
Right.
time. There's been a question about the lead guitar player, though, at least the main lead guitar player, who is quite a player, about their gender orientation. I know Mark talked about this at one point, and I don't know. Looks like a dude looks like a lady, or a lady looks like a lady. It's one or the other, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. The guitar player, the band was really good, and Davey Vane, he did really well. He's a very likable guy. I mean, he comes across very genuine. I think his songs are very good. He didn't do the same set as last time when I saw him, which
Right.
is kind of cool because I got to hear more songs I hadn't heard before. It was just very enjoyable. He didn't waste any time. There was no time fillers. He just went out there, put on a show, kind of, talked a little bit between songs, talked about, growing up in the Bay Area.
Mhm.
And I thought it was very polished. I don't know how much action those guys get as far as playing out, but I've never seen them on a bill anywhere else. But yeah, if you see them coming your way, go see them. They're really very, very enjoyable. Okay, now that brings me up to the mystery band, the band that's been on the bill every year and never shown up until this year, and that's Heaven's Edge. I
Okay.
knew absolutely nothing about these guys. I did figure out that they're from Philadelphia, which is just up the road from
Right.
Baltimore. And these guys were really good. I was shocked. I mean, they're more kind of just rock and roll, more 80s kind of rock vein. Not to go back to Vane, but
Right.
they were more in that, but they were really, really good. I enjoyed the heck out of them. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to check out their music now that I know they are a real band. I guess the problem they claimed that they canceled the last time that they were supposed to play there because their bass player died, and that's a fair reason.
That's a good
Um,
excuse.
yeah, I'll take that. I mean, not like some bands, like I won't say the Who, where your bass player dies, or ZZ Top, your bass player dies. Hey, you just go out and play the next night. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I get that too. The show must go on. I would like to think that if my band, when I die, if that they would go out and play the next night too and celebrate my life. I'd be all for that. I'm not all for everybody shutting things down and crying and mourning and that. And I want people to have fun, man. That's what I want to be remembered for. I want people to have fun. So
That's kind of a cavalier move, though, isn't it?
that's the cavalier kind of guy that I am. So Heaven's Edge was really good. They did announce that they got a record deal with Frontiers.
Okay.
Ooh. So, and the singer said, well, yeah. So I guess the real question is, according to him, these guys actually wrote the songs for this album that's going to be coming out in the fall. So it's not like Frontiers handed them songs that they wanted them to play.
Not yet.
So I would say that kind of bodes well for them. They played one song that's going to be off this album, and it was good. It was a good song. It was just yeah. I figure when you go to a concert and you hear somebody play a song you've never heard before and you like it, that's a good sign.
Right.
I mean, that's a really good sign. You don't have to like get to know the song to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, but that also speaks to the music that they do. I mean, it's real recognizable. They're not stretching out doing something nobody's ever done before. So I'm interested to hear that. So Heaven's Edge, they showed up and they played well. And again, for a band that I don't know that they ever play anywhere other than somebody's basement, they played really well together. I mean, they didn't come off as a band that hadn't played before or in a long time. They played really well. So at this point, Shelley was freezing. I mean, I was freezing, but she was freezing to the point where it's like I can't stay here anymore. So I said, well, the problem with this deal is that there's no re-entry. So once you leave, you can't come back. So I said, well, why don't you go back to the hotel, get warm, and then I'll call you, and you pick me up. She schmoozed the guys at the door into letting her go out and come back in, which was cool. Yeah. So good job, Shelley. Yeah. I said, yeah, I tried to do that one year when I was freezing. I said, I just want to go out to my car, get my coat. I'll come right back. And I said, I won't even take like 5 minutes. They said, nope, we won't let you in. But I get why nobody would let me in, but they would let Shelley in.
I was going to say she charms them. I mean, if they gave you 5 minutes, you'd probably be able to do the same thing. But at first sight, who are they choosing?
Yeah, I believe me. I mean, I would let Shelley in every time. So there you go. She can do anything she wants, and it's fine with me. So next up was Tony Harnell of TNT, which they put in parentheses after his name. So for those of you who don't know who Tony Harnell is, like people don't know who TNT is. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if Johan's still out there, but he's probably gone to bed. But I don't know that TNT really had a more than just a brief moment here in the U.S. They might be a little bigger over there somewhere. Definitely in Norway, they'd be big.
I know of them thanks to Eddie Trunk because Tony's from New York, which meant that they got played in the New York metropolitan area on all the metal stations or metal shows. So that's why I know them. And the only song he ever played was 10,000 Lovers. That was it.
Yeah, and that's not even like a great song. I mean, it's a catchy kind of riffy song, hooky kind of song, but there's a lot better TNT songs out there. I'll just throw that down. So here's the thing I'm going to say about him. And I kind of theorized that the reason he got kicked out of Skid Row is maybe the music, maybe it was a little bit too taxing on his vocals, because let's face it, the bar is set pretty high with that old Skid Row stuff. But no, that obviously wasn't the problem, because this guy could sing his ass off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. And he did a pretty long set, like 40, 50 minutes, and he was hitting notes and effortlessly, and just the dude's a pro.
Oh, yeah.
And he was lamenting that, oh, I'm going to be turning 60 this year. Like, Cry Me a River turning 60.
Yeah.
He looks great. He looks great for, even if he had said he was turning 40, he looks great. And he's saying his ass off it, but it's not like he's in a band that's playing 160 shows a year.
Right. Well, he's in like 20 bands right now. He's all these different like Frontiers projects.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So I remember him. He was in a band with the lead guitar player, one of the lead guitar players from Riot, the big guy, who's passed on. And why am I blanking on his name right now? But it was called Westworld. And they did 2 studio albums and a live album, and I'm gonna tell you right now, those albums are really good. Really good. I'm trying to remember who else was in there. The bass player from the bass player from Danger Danger. What is his name? He's a great songwriter.
Bruno Ravel.
Yep, Bruno Ravel. Yeah. Aren't these guys New Jersey guys, or am I wrong on that?
Bruno, I think, is from Long Island.
Oh, Long Island. Okay. That's close to Jersey.
Yeah. Well, Andy Timmons is from Texas, so he's like the
okay.
farthest import. Yeah, I actually got to meet him as a kid.
Oh, cool.
He was promoting a Kramer guitar, which had a sustainer pickup, and he was going around to all the like local shops, doing clinics, and we all got pictures with him. So
very cool. Yeah, he's actually a really good guitar player. I've never seen him live, but anyway, so Tony Harnell, I'm going to give him top marks. It was a very good show. His band was really good. His guitar player was excellent. The bass player was excellent. Drummer, the whole thing. It was just 3-piece with him singing, and they pulled off all that music extremely well. I mean, I kind of thought, is he just putting together like a band of just kind of guys, and it's going to come off that way? No, it came off very well. So Tony Harnell, strong work. All right, next, Stephen Piercy, who luckily knew where he was. And I've seen him a couple of times solo. I think I've only seen Rat once, and it was on their very first tour. They played in Salt Lake City. So it was 1984. And I got to say, I was bored. I had a math test, a calculus test the next day, so I had my book with me and I studied while they were playing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got an A on the test, so thank you, Stephen, for that. But here, so Stephen, his band is okay. I feel like it was a lot better than the last time I saw him, which was at a music festival in Texas, where it just kind of felt thrown together and just kind of like a bar band kind of a thing. This was certainly more polished this time around. The band played quite well, but I don't know whether they're under strict orders to stand on a spot, but that's what they did. Those guys weren't moving. Yeah, Stephen was kind of prancing around. For some reason, he really was enthralled with stage right. He kept going over to stage right and, "How you guys doing? I don't know. I'm kind of worried about you. You doing all right?" And he would do that like after every song. He would go over there and like, "Yeah, Steven, I don't know that this shtick is going to get any better. Keep doing it. Try it after the next song. See if it's going to get entertaining."
Well, was that Robbie Crane on bass with him?
I got to look at my picture because I see when you shoot me those messages, I was like, I'm not sure which band you were talking about. I don't think it was Robbie Crane. Because
it looked like
Robbie Crane played in Rat, though, didn't he?
Right, and he's currently in Black Star Riders.
Yeah. I've seen him in Black Star Riders, well, more than a few times, and he's really good. I like his bass playing a lot.
His bass playing is good, but his vocals suck.
Not so good.
Yeah, like with
Oh, what? Man, you know what? That he does look like Robbie Crane. I don't think that's him though. I think that's a heavier version of him.
You Think You're Tough. He would sing Juan's parts in You Think You're Tough, and it was just really bad when he would do it. So I love Robbie as a player. He was nice when I interviewed him, but it just didn't sound good when he did that part.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a picture of the band, and you tell me what you think again, because I know you just saw the video, so you only got a quick look at it. I don't think that was him. Yeah, I saw him. Let's see, I ran into him backstage when we were interviewing Doug Scarrett of Saxon, because that was on that tour where Black Star Riders was warming up, and seemed like a nice guy, killer bass player. But yeah, vocals, I can't comment on that. But his back, so Stephen Piercy wasn't awful. Okay, I'm going to give him that. He was not awful. It was just all right. I think he pretty much played all Rat songs, which I mean, I don't know how many solo albums does he have? When do you think
Oh,
he?
he's got a lot. He's got like 12 solo albums.
Yeah, wouldn't you think he'd work some of that stuff over a little bit, but maybe not. I mean, he's smart. People
The
want to hear
last
that.
the last 2 solo albums are great by him.
All right,
They're
I'll check
they're
that out.
both really good. Smash and You Only Live Twice. Is that the name of the second one? Where they're all
Yeah, it
James
is.
Bond. They're all
Yeah.
titled after James Bond movies, basically.
Yeah, he played the James Bond theme as their intro.
Yeah, that's his favorite um franchise. Movie
Yeah.
franchise is James Bond.
Well, that's a solid choice if you're gonna have to pick one. That's a good one. I love James Bond stuff as well. So yeah, so Stephen Piercy was good. Um, I wasn't like looking at my watch every 5 minutes. My favorite song that they played was "You're in Love," and it's mostly because the riff to that.
Yeah.
That is a great song. I don't know who wrote that, probably Warren, but that's a great song. So there you go. He played pretty much all Rat songs. The people loved him. I
Right.
mean, yeah, which made me think, would they have gone any more nuts if it had actually been Rat? I don't know.
The brand name carries a lot more weight than I think his name does.
It does for bookings, yeah, for getting people in the seats. But as far as the people that were there at this show, they loved him. I mean, they really loved it. So
Yeah.
I'll give him top marks for that. He put on a show that everybody enjoyed.
You're in Love, written by Stephen Piercy and Juan Crucier.
Well done, Juan. But I guess Steven says he plays guitar.
Steven says that he plays guitar and that he's written a lot of these riffs. So,
Well, whoever wrote that riff, it's my favorite Rat riff. Rat riff. There you go.
there you go.
So there you go. All right. So then at this point, and Stephen Piercy just finishes, my phone rings and it's Shelly. She's like, "I'm back." She said, "Will you come to the gate in case they?"
She's back
Yeah,
for more.
She came back from. Oh, see, I see what you did there. She came back for more because she wanted to see Blue Oyster Cult.
Okay.
Yeah, in this play, I mean, the place at this point when Stephen Piercy played, the place was just packed. All the seats were packed,
Mhm.
and it's pouring rain, just pouring rain. So Shelly calls me and says, "Hey, can you come to the gate just in case they give me crap?" And I said, "Sure." So I got there. I did my best to schmooze the guys. She did her best, and it was actually different guys that had let her out. They had shift change,
Right.
and they were cool. They're like, "Yeah, come on in." Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
yeah, so they totally let her in. Again, why wouldn't you let Shelly in? I'd let her in anywhere. So Blue Oyster Cult, Shelly nailed this one. For the most part, people had kind of dispersed. I mean, there was probably half the amount of people down in the seats that were there for
Okay.
Stephen Piercy. And a lot of the people, as I'm looking around when Blue Oyster Cult hits the stage, everybody's kind of just looking at their phones, not recording, but just looking at their phones, surfing, checking their tweets and whatnot. And my theory there is that these people are 80s people. I mean, Blue Oyster Cult certainly was putting out music in the 80s, but I mean, their big moments were in the 70s.
Right.
And I do have to say they were I mean, for freaking old dudes in their mid 70s. I mean, Buck and Eric, it's the best I've heard Eric sing in over 20 years. I mean,
Huh.
it's been no secret that he's had vocal problems, and there's been shows where he almost never sings at all and just lets
Mhm.
Buck do all the singing. And when he does sing, he keeps, he doesn't go for anything high, he keeps
Right.
keeps all it low. He sang really, really well at this show. I was just blown away how well he sang. And the set list was good, which I think that was probably a problem too, because they're kind of now in their old age favoring deep tracks. I mean, yeah, they
Mhm.
play what they call the big three, Don't Fear the Reaper, Godzilla, and Burning for You.
Mhm.
That's what in the BOC fans, that's the big three. They did play those. They didn't play them all together, which is nice. They used to save them all till the end, but now they could space them out through the set.
Right.
I did record Godzilla for my son because it's his favorite Oyster Cult song. I put it up on the Yard Metal YouTube page if you want to check
There
it
you
out.
go. Cool.
I felt like actually being there was significantly better than watching it on YouTube. It was one of those, but it's still pretty good. It gives you an idea of what's going on.
Right.
But I'm going to give what's his name, because of course I'm blanking his name. Guy.
Castanello.
Yeah, Castanello. What's his first name?
Richie
Castanello. Yeah, that guy. Him and the drummer. They really infused huge life into this band. I mean, they make it rock, because really Buck and Eric can't move around a huge amount. Although Buck, for hell's sake, man, that guy still plays his ass off on guitar, and he sings incredibly well. And I think he's like 75 years old. So
Did they play "Take Me Away"?
No, they didn't play. I've never seen them play that. I take that back. I have seen them play that because I've seen them a lot. But yeah, I would have loved to have heard them play that. That's a great song. You know who wrote that, don't you?
Who wrote that?
Aldo Nova.
No kidding.
Yeah, Aldo Nova wrote that for him.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
because
that's a great
it's
song.
very from that time period.
Yeah, that's about the only that whole album. That's a whole nother thing. We're not here to talk about Oyster Cult, but they were. I thoroughly enjoyed them, and they're supposed to be coming here in August, so I'm definitely planning on seeing them again. Where I kind of dropped out about 10 years ago, I kind of got tired of the Eric not singing and playing the same set over and over and over after about 3 or 4 shows. It's like, I don't need to see the same set over and over, and it was tired. The guys they had in the band were tired. It was like, yeah, guys, maybe it's time to think about doing something else. But it's like a totally new infused band. And of course, the only thing that would make it better, according to Shelley, is that if I was playing bass. And, I'm gonna say, yeah. I'm gonna say I'm there. I'm here for you guys. You wanna bring some life and more life into the band right here. I will bring it, man. And I can actually sing too. So there you go.
By the way, bass player for Stephen Piercy is Jerry Montano, who played for Danzig and played for Hell Yeah. So he's played in much heavier bands, and he's now playing with Steven. Steven, I guess, helps pay the bills. So do what you got to do.
He gets booked, man. Yeah, I didn't think that was Robbie. He looked a little more hammered than Robbie. Looks pretty good up close. I mean, he looks like he's in good shape. This guy looked like he'd had a few, slept under the car a few times.
Okay.
Bless his heart. He's probably a really nice guy. Molly agrees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, we learned who was the band that wasn't there and why Enough's Enough was thrown into the bill, and Extreme was supposed to be next.
Right.
And they announced that Extreme wouldn't be playing because somebody in the band or somebody in the Extreme family has COVID, and so they had to cancel. So I'll give them a pass on that. Although I was very excited to see them, because the last time I saw them there, they were brilliant, and I'm really hoping they get this new album out that they recorded well before COVID.
Right.
I mean, and it was very. I've heard some excerpts from it. It's very riffy, very just straight up rock kind of. Yeah. I hope that album actually does come out. So, and I hope they're all healthy. I hope whoever has COVID, they get over it and they get to move on. But they were the band that when I did see him, Nuno didn't want to stop playing. He wanted to do this guitar solo thing, and they were at the end of their time. And so that the stage started turning on them, and he was not amused. It's like, you can't turn the stage on Nuno.
Right.
But I thought he was going to throw down with somebody. He was not happy about that.
So in other words, Extreme didn't show up. Blue Oyster Cult became the headliner for the night.
No, there's one other band.
Okay.
And it's Tom Kiefer. Spoiler alert.
Oh
So
boy.
we're both freezing still. I've been there the whole time. I'm just super frozen. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to let's just hang out for a few songs just so I can see if it's my imagination or if that he was really as awful as he was the last time I saw him. And we waited and we waited and we waited. And I mean, it was more than like a half an hour. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And Shelly is finally like, I'm not waiting any longer. So as we were walking out, they finally hit the stage and let somebody save me, somebody save me. And it I don't know, his band, they're good musicians in that, but they're not they're not like, I don't know, they're
He's
not
trying to be the Black Crows is the
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
And the thing is, I don't want to see the Black Crows cover a song like Somebody Save Me. I
yeah,
want to see Cinderella do it, or at least come as close as possible to that. And that's the whole thing. Tom Kiefer has this weird dynamic where he doesn't want to be associated to Cinderella. He wants to be, again, he wants to be associated to like a Black Crows type thing. But guess what? You made it famous with Cinderella, and the only crowd that actually gives a damn about you is that crowd, the Black Crows crowd, that purist Southern rock bullshit that surrounds that band, which is what it is.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
oh,
I mean,
we're a rock band. We're not a metal band. We're not this. Hey, you had to open for fucking Michael Schenker on your first tour because no one wanted to book you. Okay? So and it's just this whole thing where they've always bitched about, oh no, 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 no. We're not, we're authentic rock. We're this, we're that, whatever, A
yeah,
band that, again, when Kingdom Come was put on the spit for sounding too much like Led Zeppelin, no one had a problem with the Black Crowes sounding too much like the Faces or the Rolling Stones. So I never understood that. With
well, probably because those most of the people that at that time, were not huge, not like the all about those bands. Zeppelin is kind of like sacred territory or whatever. And I'm with you. It's like, who cares if you sound like Zeppelin? As long as you're doing it good. I mean,
right.
as long as you're good, that's all that matters. So yeah,
So
but
yeah,
yeah,
with
so
Tom
tell me.
Kiefer, with what you heard, was it, you're saying that Somebody Save Me just didn't sound good? So as
I
you're
didn't
walking out,
I wouldn't say that. It's just it wasn't it you're right. It didn't sound like the original. I mean, it didn't sound like what you would expect.
right?
A little bit softer. I mean, the equipment they're using all this vintage amps and stuff like that, and it wasn't the biting kind of rock, you know what I mean? The guys are kinda playing groove, kinda laid back, and it it didn't have the intensity that you would want in that song. That's kinda what I was going for.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
But I do
You know?
have to say this, that where the last time I saw Tom Kiefer, he came out wearing, like, track pants and a T-shirt, and he looked like he just woke up. His hair was, like, 2 sides of whatever. He actually, like, dressed up like he was going to a concert this time.
Oh
So
wow.
so I'll give him top marks for that. He looked like he was there to rock. He looked good. He looked healthy, he looked good.
So the
So
the previous time he either had an accident before going out on stage.
or he was asleep in his trailer, and, they were like, "Tom, you gotta hit the stage. We got 2 minutes." "Oh, what? Oh, okay." And they just pushed him out there, and he was still waking up, and
Yeah,
that's what he looked like the first time I saw him. This
and
time yeah, this time he was fully awake and, happening. Uh,
they were pushing him out on stage, and he was saying, somebody save me. I want to go back to sleep.
yeah,
And then
that's
when they said, Tom, you gotta put some pants on, and he said, I'm nobody's fool. I'm not wearing that. I'm just going out in my track pants.
they may not have even been his.
It might not have even been his. Hey, maybe maybe his keyboard player threw up on him, and he said, "You're giving me your pants."
There you go.
So
But I wish him luck. I mean, I don't. I did actually, in full disclosure, I watched some YouTube videos of him from that show because we obviously left. I mean, I could hear him in the parking lot, but and I thought actually he was okay. I mean, I can't say it was. I can't say anything really bad about him, other than if you're a Cinderella fan, it's not Cinderella. So
okay, but
there's.
as you're walking to your car, are you thinking, "I made a good decision by not sticking around for this," or did you
Eh,
say, "Damn it"?
I kind of felt like at that point getting warm was more important. I didn't feel like, oh, we need to go back. No,
Yeah,
I didn't feel like. I, I'm kind of weird though. It's like when I go to a baseball game, I don't leave until the last out of the ninth inning.
right.
When I go to a concert, I don't
Not a
like leaving
Dodgers
early.
fan, then.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not the typical LA person that shows up in the third inning, leaves in the sixth. Get my Dodger dog and I'm out of there. Yeah, the only band that I just had to leave and then couldn't was REO Speedwagon, but we've already covered that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you wanted to get warm, and you said to your wife, "Somebody save me! I'm freezing."
Yes, exactly right. And a long cold winter. It was a long cold
It's a
spring.
long, cold winter. Yes.
It felt like a long cold winter. Man, it was chilled to the bone. I'm telling you, when it gets cold out here because it's dry, you can put on like one coat and you're fine. It's 20 degrees, you're fine. One coat. There with the humidity, we had like each 3 layers on of coats. We
Yeah.
wore everything we had, and it was just cutting right through you.
You're preaching to the choir. I live on the coast, and I say this all the time. The humidity just sticks to your bones.
It does. It does. Yeah. So we went back to the hotel. Shop Molly's not amused either. We went back to the hotel, got warm, and enjoyed the rest of the evening. And then we got up bright and early Sunday, and we're like, doggone it, I really want to see Burning Witches. I want to see what these ladies are all about. And we got there right before they came on. There was not many people there. And I tell you what, these ladies hit the stage and they were on fire. They were burning up, man. I did shoot one video of a song, Hex and Hammer, and I put that on the Yard Metal YouTube. Everybody should check that out. That one's actually really good because it sounds good. You see the kind of energy they were bringing. They were, yeah, they brought it, and they were a lot heavier than I expected. I do have some of their music, but I mean, this is a very Iron Maiden-esque, like old Iron Maiden. Okay.
Yeah, and even the newer stuff is even heavier than that. Like the last album is going more towards like Testament territory where it's heavy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But what sold me with them is the fact that they were there. There weren't a lot of people there, and they rocked their asses off.
Mm-hmm.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Shelley really liked it too. And again, not knowing the songs, that's very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go see them again. I need to look and see where else they're playing if they're getting out this way on this tour. I think that's really cool of M3, which is an 80s festival, to bring in this relatively new band and somehow get them from Switzerland over here, because that's not an easy trick either nowadays.
Right.
And just to play a 30-minute set. So well done. Okay, I need to do something with this dog. Hey, what's your problem? Come here. You want to say hi? Yeah, say hi. There you go. Okay, so up next was Leatherwolf. I knew nothing about these guys other than they have 3 guitar players. And Wayne Findley, which I spotted him right away. I was like, wait a second, that's Wayne Findley. I think there's only 2 original guys in the band still. The bass player, which looked like he'd just crawled out of bed, and one of the guitar players, I think. and they were really good. Their singer, the guy who's singing for them now, that dude was just hitting big notes effortlessly, and I was very impressed by them. I'm definitely gonna buy some of their music and check them out more. So top marks for those guys, and they actually put on a pretty good show too. They were bringing a lot of energy. So Leatherwolf, I don't know. You familiar with any of their music? I think I asked you this
Um,
last.
I've heard songs of theirs in the past, but I can't say that, I'm really well versed in what they do. Wikipedia doesn't have Wayne Finley in the band, but their singer's been with them since 2019.
Oh, so
So,
he's really new.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that dude. I don't know who he was singing with before or what he was doing before, but oh my gosh, they're like putting a band together to like actually do something.
Mhm.
I mean, it wasn't like they just threw this together to do this show kind of a thing. So
He's
it'll
a
be,
vocal coach as well, so
yeah, I can see why. Yeah, so right away we got two bands that came out and they played it like they meant it. They were bringing energy to the stage, and they were hitting on all cylinders. So good job by both those bands.
he's
Okay,
been in
let's.
bands. He's been in Leatherwolf and Ninja Gandhi.
Wow, that's quite a cross, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's like one of those things where, okay, we're gonna come up with a band name. We're gonna take all these words. Everybody's gonna put in like 20 words into a hat, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna pull two of them out. And whatever those two are, that's gonna be the band name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Ninja Gandhi.
Yeah, so Leatherwolf, I'm definitely gonna do a deep dive on them and listen to some of their stuff. I don't know if they have any newer recordings. You're looking at the Wikipedia. What's their last album?
I just closed it.
Mm,
Let's see.
that's all right.
Leatherwolf, their last album came out. Where's discography? Oh wow. Their last full-length album, according to Wikipedia, again, this may not be updated, but according to Wikipedia, 2007.
Okay, so it's been a while. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but both these bands, the first, again, this is a '80s music festival, so
Right.
you're kind of expecting not what Burning Witches did, not real heavy metal. I mean, they kind of went there with Doro and um, I don't know who else was more metal. Well, I'm going to say really Burning Witches, but they were the most metal of anybody. And I think Shelley said, "Guy," and Burning Witches, they probably took their name from the Doro song.
Could be.
But she says, "I like them like 100 times more than I like Doro." So she really liked them a lot. Leatherwolf was really good. Okay, so the next was Choir Boys, and I thought, well, this is kind of cool that they're really mixing it up again. Other
Mhm.
than it's like, who's going to know Choir Boys music? And I was kind of expecting, yeah, this is going to be like a good kind of British pub kind of feel, rockin' kind of fun band, and they bored the crap out of me. Just
Well, it wasn't with Spike, right?
no Spike. Yeah, so the guitar player sang. I don't know. He's been in the band the whole time. I don't know his name. And when he talked between songs, he kind of mumbled. Um,
Oh, that's something you
and
always want.
there, yeah, there was not a lot of energy there, man. These guys were just kind. Oh, and then their bass player, for some reason, I don't know whether he just lost his passport or whatever. So they had Chips Enough filling in on bass,
That's what
and
I thought when I saw the picture. I'm like, isn't that Chip?
yeah, so Chip's out there, and I got to hand it to Chip. He played the songs very well. Showed that he can actually play bass, because when he's doing Enough's Enough, he's just singing, kind of holding the bass. He doesn't really play a lot. But so he's playing bass, and yeah. Yeah, there was, again, they had a really small stage setup. They got this huge stage, and you got everybody grouped together like this, and nobody moves. Nobody.
That's
And it's like,
crazy.
and I mean, they played their hit song, and they played some songs that I enjoyed, but it was just boring. It was just
Right.
boring. Sorry, guys. I like what you do. If they had had a lead singer who would have brought some personality to the band, like Spike, I might have a different opinion of them. But
They could have had Chip sing.
yeah, there you go. So the next up was the band that we were most excited to see, XYZ. We both love Terry Luce.
Mhm.
The guy is, I think, uh, he's a consummate front man. He even when he was in Great White, which he just never really fit that stuff,
Yeah,
not
not
at
at
all.
all. Yeah.
Not at all, and I saw him with Great White, and it's just like it's hard not to like the guy. I mean, he just comes across as a real just genuine, just happy to be there, and he sings so well. And so but this is his band, XYZ, and we talked about this last time, how much I
Mhm.
love his guitar player, um, Tony Marcus. This
Okay.
dude, if I was again, I said it last time, if I was starting a band right now, I would ask him to be my guitar player. Well, apparently he doesn't have a gig because this really weird ass wannabe Mick Ronson guy was playing guitar for them. I'll send you a picture of this guy and see if
Oh,
you can
wow.
figure out who he is. Blonde, he did not fit at all. His tone was awful. Um, he kind of he didn't really play the songs great, and it kind of that kind of wrecked it for me.
Mhm.
One thing that was kind of a bonus there is he hasn't Terry hasn't had the original drummer in the band for over 30 years.
Mhm.
And that guy's a really good drummer. Well, for some reason, the drummer couldn't do the show, and the bass player, the original bass player who's still in the band, he was sick, couldn't do the show, so he had another kid playing bass, a young kid. I kind of think he might actually be Terry's son. I'm not sure about that.
Huh.
He kind of looks similar, but he's a really young kid, and this kid played really well. He looked like kind of new to the scene, but he played really well. He kind of got better as the night as the set went on. At first, he kind of looked scared, and then he started rocking and having a good time. So that was a major disappointment for me, is that it wasn't the band I was hoping to see, the actual
Right.
band. The music wasn't as good as what I'd hoped for. Terry sang really, really well. He was delightful uh, in his banter in between songs. Didn't do any sing along crap. Didn't stretch anything out. Played a great selection of songs from XYZ, and so Shelly really enjoyed it. That was probably her highlight of that day.
Okay.
So next, Ingve. Now, if you haven't seen, just the stage setup was hilarious. Okay, I will. I mean, it's all Marshall amps. It's like more Marshall amps than you could shake a stick at. It was just a huge wall, and they're actual amps. Okay, actual cabinets. This is not a mock-up or anything. They're real things, and it's just all Marshall amps. No bass amp, because God forbid, the bass player is not supposed to. And the band was pushed way off to the one side, way off to the side. And as they were out there getting ready, because they look like roadies, and I said, "Oh, those guys are the roadies setting up the equipment." No, that was the band, and that was the way they looked when they came on. It's like, no, you guys, you can wear a t-shirt, you can wear maybe some jeans, but that's it. No bling, no nothing. Can't have your hair combed. Can't look like can't look like rock stars, because that's me. I'm the only one who gets to look like a rock star here.
Right.
And yeah, and so it started off with one of his main amp that he had was going through was just having all kinds of problems. So the guitar tech was out there trying to fix it. It was just screaming and making all these hellish noises. And I'm like, this is pretty hilarious, man. How is this going? How is this even going to happen? So he hits the stage, and it was like Spinal Tap. It was the most Spinal Tap thing I've ever seen,
Right.
where I mean, he kind of played songs, but he didn't play songs. It was like parts of songs,
Mhm.
and him doing his swing the guitar around, and he's like throwing his guitar around, blowing out all his shtick in the first 5 minutes. and he must have kicked like 500 picks into the audience. That's his thing, is he flicks his pick up and then he kicks the pick into the audience.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that's kind of a cool trick. But then he does it again, and he does it again, then he does it
Right.
again. And the guy's he's got like a guy who his job is just to keep his supply of picks on his mic stand full, and that
Right.
guy's running out there every minute and a half, replenishing his pick supply. It's really hilarious.
Why don't you just stand at the front of the stage with a box of picks?
That would have made there's so many things that would have made so much
Yeah.
more sense about this.
Then again, he's probably not paying the guy, and he's probably roadie for the entire band. You know, there's probably that's probably one of the 87 jobs he's got to do while Ingve's playing.
Yeah, I don't know, but we watched. I said, "Hey, we're going to watch 2 songs," and at one point we're like, "Well, I can't even tell if this song's ended and another one's began. Is this another song?" And I said, "Yeah, I kind of think it is." The keyboard player did sang a little bit at the beginning, and again, this is a guy who looks like a roadie. He's pushed way off to the side. He's not facing the audience. He's facing sideways to the stage, and he's kind of singing, and it's mixed way down. Yngwie did sing a little bit, and then he did he did the Star Spangled Banner, which was, patriotic. It was beautiful, but it was a very Spinal Tap-ish Star Spangled Banner. And then he played Smoke on the Water, which he did that actually really well, and Yngwie sang it and did a pretty good job. So,
well, he's saying that he will never have another lead singer because every lead singer that he's ever worked with thinks that they're Elvis.
Go on YouTube, type in Yngwie M3 and watch it and make your own assessment. The band is kind of a side note. Literally, they're pushed to the left side of the stage, looking onto the stage. Yngwie is everything, and it was kind of hilarious. I was like, I don't know. I part of me kind of wants to keep watching this, because it's like a car wreck. But we were freezing. We were just colder. Like, you know what? We're out of here. So we actually left during Yngwie. And so we missed the last 3 bands. I did kind of check out some stuff on YouTube though. So Striper was next. I have seen them before. They're good. And from what I saw, they were what you would expect with Striper. Michael Sweet has not changed his vocal style at all. So you would have
Wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you would have said. Wonderful, wonderful boys. Play us another song about Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed him the last time I saw him, but I would have stuck around if it hadn't been so freaking cold. Then Skid Row came on, and from what I've seen, people, I'm in a couple of Facebook groups of M3 people. Everybody raved about Skid Row, and I've already raved about Skid Row here when I saw him warm up for Scorpions there at their residency in Vegas. And I've never really been a big Skid Row fan. For some reason, their songs just never spoke to me very much, and I've tried. But with this guy, with Eric singing, it's like it's a whole different thing. He sold it to me. He sold it big time. It was nice to listen to. He's a great front man. And what I saw at everybody at M3 that was posting said the same thing. They were like, "This is unbelievable how good this is." The new song that they're playing, that I believe you put the video on your Patreon. Gang's All Here. I liked it. I liked it live. It sounded great. I hope if the rest of the album's like that, or in that vein, man, I'm all in on this. I think that it's the smartest thing these guys have ever done was get this guy to sing for them. And hopefully it continues to work out. He seems genuinely just happy to be there. The guy doesn't stop smiling the whole time on stage. He's just having a blast.
Had you
Go
not have seen them with Scorpions, would that have made you want to stick around to see them, or the cold was just too much?
I wanted to stick around. I did. It was just so cold. At that point, I was like, I don't know that I want to sit through the rest of Ingve and Striper to get to Skid Row. I was
Right.
that cold. I said we saw him just a couple of weeks ago. The set's probably going to be very similar. But I really did want to see him again. I enjoyed it that much. I enjoyed normally when you see an opening band, especially one you're not really into, you're kind of like, yeah, it's about time for them to go off.
Right.
And I didn't feel that way when I saw him warm up for Scorpions. And Scorpions let him have a really long set. Like they played almost an hour. So I was thrilled to see him, and they come near here or anywhere else, I would go see them. I would pay money to go see this version of Skid Row. So there, Skid Row.
Cool.
I'm hoping the album is really good, and I'm hoping they do a decent tour after that. I realize they're not young guys, but I feel like this band's got a whole new life now, and hopefully people will give him a chance. And I think this guy will sell them. We'll stop hearing the bring back Sebastian stuff.
Yep, I agree.
And that's not a knock on Sebastian, because I saw him solo not that long ago, and he was actually pretty good. I rather enjoyed him. He was very, very professional, put on a decent show. But I would much rather see this guy sing. This guy's phenomenal. He is just phenomenal. Tesla, I've seen them so many times, and from what I saw, I've watched a few YouTube clips from the M3 show. They sounded good. They looked good. Brian Wheat, obviously not skipping any meals. His bass, he's playing one of those new Gibson non-reverse Thunderbirds.
Okay.
And it sounded great. It had a very bright, wonderful sound. I was like, man, that sounds pretty awesome. So I would have liked to have stayed for the whole thing and seen Skid Row and Tesla. Actually, I would have liked to have seen Striper again too. So
you missed the band that you actually saw, though.
True. So that's my only regret, is that I wasn't strong enough to make it through all of Sunday.
Okay.
But also, we were there from noon. I mean,
it's hard.
Yeah, and you're freezing your ass off, and So overall, M3 was a blast. We're definitely going next year.
Okay.
So yeah, anybody out there listening, if you like rock music, and I've never gone because of the bands that are on the lineup. Sometimes I look at the lineup and I go, yeah, I'm not really big fans of any of these bands. I've always had fun. I've never not had fun at M3. Even this year when it was freezing ass, I still had a blast. I still want to go back. But if you're thinking of going, hit me up. Let's hang out and let's have fun together, man. I know Mike was talking. Was it Mike that was talking about coming down?
I don't remember if it was him or not, but yeah, there was someone from the group that said that they wanted to go.
Yeah. But even if you're not a part of this group, man, if you want to come hang out with us, I've got a line in on front row seats. I'll hook you up, and it's great, man. You can stand, you can sit, you've got no obstructions. It's great for Shelly because she's really not very well. She's really short, and she typically gets behind the tallest, widest person in the venue and can't see a doggone thing. It's funny when we saw the Monsters of Rock tour here, the Van Halen, Scorpions, Dokken, and all of that. We went down, we were sitting way up in the stands for most of it. And then we came down to the floor and wedged our way up there as far up as we could get for Dokken. And I loved every minute of that. It was just fantastic. And afterward I said, Shelly, what'd you think? And she says, well, I couldn't see any of them, but I loved it. She says every so often, like one of them, I could see one of them like run by in between the two heads in front of me, but she says I could not see a thing. And I felt so bad for her. It's like, that really sucks, man. You go to something like that and you can't see. So M3, you get a nice seat, you can see everything. They have a great sound system. The weather was freakish this year, so I'm not expecting it to be freezing ass in the beginning of May. It's been freakish here too. So
wow.
I give M3 five Marses.
There you go. There is one band that you sent me video on that you didn't mention though.
What?
Zebra.
Crap, you're right. I didn't get them on my list because they weren't on the list. Oh, geez, how did I screw that up? Yeah, I was wondering because they'd said something about Zebra being there, and I was like, they're not on the list. So yeah, they wedged Zebra in there. It was right before Yngwie. So right after XYZ, Zebra came on. Oh my gosh, how did I screw this up? Your comment again. So it's Randy Jackson, right?
Yes.
Okay, not the bass player, but the guitar player.
Guitar player.
So these guys are out there, sound checking, setting up all their gear and that. And Shelly's like, "Well, is that the singer? Is that the guitar player in the band?" I said, "No, that's got to just be a roadie." I said, "That can't be him," because I've seen plenty of pictures of him. I've never seen them live. He had his hair pulled back in a ponytail, and he looked like I think you said he was selling cell phone
yeah,
cell phone
he's
plans. He looked like you'd see him at the Sprint store.
right. He's from Long Island, and
Yeah.
he's got, at least when I used to live in the States, he had a few different cell phone stores that he owned.
Ah,
So he would come on with the understanding that he'd be allowed to pimp his shops.
okay. He didn't bring that up.
Okay.
He's definitely an odd dude, though. I mean, there was all kinds of weird sound stuff going on in his sound
Yeah.
check. I mean, he was being so like, the guys. And then when he started playing, he kept pointing, at the guys at the monitor board. And it wasn't like normal things where, you do vocal up, guitar up, or down. He was doing all these weird hand signals. I'm like, I have no idea what he's getting at there. And he was kind of throwing daggers. Oh, that reminds me. This is something funny about Yngwie during his opening songs or whatever it was that was kind of like a song. He got all pissed off because they had white lights on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see if you watch the video from the beginning of the thing, about a minute or so into that, he gets on his mic and he goes, no white lights. And then he gets back on there and he's getting really pissed at this point. And he's pointing at the lights and he's no white lights. And I thought he was going to like lose his mind and maybe leave the stage, but they cut the white lights. And I'm like, what's the problem with the white lights?
He just wants Ferrari red lights.
Yeah, that's what they switched him to red. That's what he got. He was much happier. He goes, "Oh, much better." Yeah,
and that's interesting.
Yeah, it's like what the I don't. To be honest, I mean, times that I've been played in a big venue with real pro lights and everything, I've hardly noticed anything other than you can't see the audience at all,
right?
Because you're just being, blasted.
Yeah.
But I'm so into what I'm playing and things like that. I couldn't tell you what color is what or anything. It's just funny that he was just freaking out over white lights on the stage.
So he was singing, I'm seeing too many white lights tonight instead of I see the light tonight.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. We thought maybe it was like the brown M&Ms in the rider kind of thing that he has in his rider that there'll be no white lights on stage. And so when they turned white lights on, he was like, nope, not going to play.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Zebra. I thought they actually sounded really good. The mix was fantastic. So they must have had somebody running their sound out front anyway. Maybe obviously the problems were with the monitor stuff. I thought they played really well. It's kind of cool. It's the original three guys.
Right.
And
It's
it was
only ever been different because when the drummer had cancer, they had Bobby Rondinelli playing for them.
Ah, okay.
But outside of that, it's been these three.
And I got to tell you, one thing about their drummer is, as opposed to all the bands that came before, even the Choir Boys, this drummer swang. I mean, he had a swing to his playing. And I thought, man, that's really refreshing, other than just this really machine, playing like a drum, everything's just precise. This guy was, he was playing some pretty complicated drum stuff, but he was swinging it. And I don't know if he's from New Orleans, but man, that guy played with a lot of soul. And the bass player was great. I mean, he was doing a lot of stuff, playing keyboards with his feet, playing, and then he actually played keyboards. And the other cool thing was he had a Michael Kelly bass, one that I've actually been kind of looking at since I got that other one, and it sounded phenomenal.
Right.
So the boss sitting next to me goes, "Well, you should order one up right now."
How can you say no?
I haven't ordered it yet, but yeah, yeah, it's certainly something that nothing else I have in my collection. So
Cool.
we'll see if it happens. I'll definitely be showing it off here. But yeah, they sounded great. His voice is an acquired taste when his falsetto stuff. I mean, he sang mostly kind of lower, which I thought was cool. Good tone. He's still able to do the falsetto stuff, but it's kind of like after a while, it's not really pleasant. That's the only knock I'm going to give him.
For example, their first album was great, but after that, I agree with you. Like all the other albums that they've released, it's okay. I understood what you could do with that first album, but then after that, it's kind of like, okay, this is, like you're saying, an acquired taste. You either really like it or you don't get it, type of a deal.
Yeah. It's kind of like almost like he listened to a lot of Rush and was kind of trying to go there, but didn't have the voice to hit it. So he was doing falsetto. It was kind of like King Diamond without the, I don't know.
Without
but I really enjoyed them. I really did. I thought they were really good. And so here's another selling point for M3. I had no idea I was going to see Zebra ever in my life, and I've always been kind of curious. And guess what? Now I've gotten to see Zebra in a real large place, real pro sound, and I don't know that I'll ever have that opportunity again.
And you're no longer
here. Yeah. I mean, they rarely play. When they do, I think they only play in the New York area or maybe a show in New Orleans, and that's it. They don't tour. They're old dudes. So yeah. So M3, I'm all in on it, and I'm going as long as they're going to keep holding this festival, and as long as it's fun to go to, I'm going.
Right.
So I'm all in on next year. So come join me, people. Let's do M3. Let's rock out.
Awesome. On that note, we're going to wrap things up here. Almost gone 2 hours on M3 here.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe we talked that long.
So I thank you for coming on and discussing M3 once again. And
my pleasure.
You will be back next week for our KISS discussion. And Doro, produced by Gene Simmons. So there's still a KISS connection there.
There you go.
So
I wanted to like Doro a lot more. I really did. I have so much respect for her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, her coming up in the heavy metal at that point in time as a woman, and I mean, she deserves a lot of praise for what she's done, and she's always been flying the flag. So I give her A+ for that. Absolutely. But needs better songs. Needs some better songs. Come on, somebody write Doro some better songs, please.
There you go. Awesome. So I want to thank everyone for watching or listening to this live or replay. Thank you for taking your time out to check the show out. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope this makes some people check out M3 or any of the bands that played. So, Brad, thanks once again, and we will see you guys next time right here on the Signals from Mars live stream. That is all, folks. See ya.